I once saw a spy. She was brilliant, erratic, cursed, an anti-personnel mine in human form. Her friends called her Herschel, but for her controllers, she was Cascade.
Your name and your cryptonym. A dead limb twitches.
The abandoning kind. One by one, she watched her friends go out like distant lights. Portofino 91, the whole sick crew, a disaster untold, the black page in the official records.
The memory hums, an exposed wire.
None at all. Yet here we are, standing over the smashed and leaking world. Some fool dropped it. One of ours, probably. She was recalled. They put her in the freezer. Forever, most thought. Even in those dark days, there were whispers among the lower sub-levels, where they keep the true believers. Don't count Cascade out. 5 years passed. A little more of the world leaked out of itself. Cascade's controllers ordered her back to Portofino. Because I asked them to. There's a new assignment, Cascade. I was supposed to give you the brief. Right here, in an armchair in a safe house above a 24-hour photo shop in the city-state of Portofino. No one special, just an arm-like sack of cytoplasm, a special move unique to single-cell organisms. But before that, I was like you, a spy for the People's Republics, one of the varieties of mankind. This is a dangerous place, Cascade. I should never have come. I got caught with my pants down. On the plus side, I no longer have to worry about independent thought or movement.
This was the human game, and he played it poorly. Time to give up his seat.
Would you like to hear a secret? Whatever happens has already happened.
Splayed on the chair before you is a man, approximately mid-30s. His chest rises and falls in steady rhythm as he stares beyond you, unblinked. Alive, yet not alive. A pair of headphones have slipped partway off his head, connected to a stereo system beside him. No response. His eyes are still fixed glassily on the ceiling. The pupils quiver like a failing heartbeat. Cream paint, peeling slightly. A small room in a city past its prime. Nothing to suggest why the man is so interested in it. You get no response, no flinch, no twitch. As you stare down at him, the man begins to draw. There is no smell of alcohol, nor any open containers. No drug paraphernalia either. Just a loose cord trailing to the stereo system. Like a cosmonaut's safety tether. Stiff collared shirt, a snug brown jacket, and nothing below the waist but a pair of red briefs. And to think, your superiors expected you both to share this enclosed space with tendencies like this. Highly pleasing rubbability. Your fingers detect a low, steady hum where jaw meets neck. Elevated, but not critical. What that means about his deeper condition, you cannot say. When in theatre, an operant must always prepare to be assassinated. Of course, it is better not to be killed. The man's eyes glisten. Bright red veins blossom around their edges. If so, he will have to become something else entirely. You both exist now, in different futures. However he ended up like this, the result is the same. Operant down. Clipped to the inside flap of his jacket, you find a laminated badge, emblazoned with the crest of the Import-Export Bureau of the People's Republic of Kohila. The name reads Esteman T. Below that, a title, Imports Lead. Sock Merchant, one of the opera's most battle-tested covers. That's what the badge says. This is only a cover, but such phantoms often mimic the Operant Bureau's actual hierarchies. And look how well that worked out for him. You remain ungovernable. Notably absent is an actual phone number. Into your pocket it goes. Not even a flicker of a response. The people's spy cannot be caught shirking. Time to escalate. Your double has deserted the track before the starting gun. Will you stand for it? Pathetic. History ended a century ago. Last time is reactionary fetish. Defend the party, reject the linear progression of time. The man's breath gargles softly in his throat as you yank him upwards. He is... The man's head slips 2 centimeters to the left. His jaw slides with it. You can do it, Cascade, he says with his eyes. You return to your double's limp body. Breathing gently on his chair, he could be a sleeping child, but for the wide-open, lightless eyes. In another life, you are both earnestly selling your cotton wares, far beyond the shadows of international intelligence.
Following the cord from the unconscious man's headphones, you come to a mid-sized home stereo resting on a sideboard.
A prototype 0909 50-watt with multi-disc changer. Last generation model. Designed for affordability at the expense of power and clarity. Through the translucent view panel, you see a single red disc loaded in place. On the face of the disc are the words, Ultravioletta, you but from a dream, handwritten on thin strips of tape. You don't recognize the artist. So is the disc, ready to spin. The chunky button makes a satisfying little thunk as you push it in. The plastic latch clicks into place, and the discus begins to turn. You know because the spindle is rotating, though the speakers don't produce any sound at all. The kitchen light hums and splinters momentarily. On the hidden side of the sun, a polar radiation storm congeals. No sound, save the thin layer of static that lines the inner cables. Amateur wire work. Or do you? You can't tell. The silence is being overtaken by a different silence. Like the slow darkening of night across the wall of an empty room. This new silence seeps into every corner of your body, loosening fixtures, rattling drawers, seeing what will come with it. There is still no sound, but in your mind an image forms of a blasted heath. A smouldering circle at its center. Figures in tattered robes stagger and sway on the horizon. Your mind blanks. The power grid ravaged by an unseen, faraway storm. A second-floor studio apartment above the Photo 24 while you wait film lab on Orphanage Street in the independent city-state of Portofino. Slowly, you return to yourself. The apartment looks the same, just about. It doesn't appear to be. The disc is spinning the way it's meant to. An artifact of no substance onto which nothing of substance has been recorded. Nothing. You're simply playing a disc on a common home stereo system. The sort of thing millions of people across the world do every day. No. You probably shouldn't. The static quiets as you reset the volume. A great relief shivers through you, though nothing has seemingly happened. The chunky button makes the plastic latch, the kitchen light hum on the hidden side of the sun. The static quiets as you reset a brief internal hum. Then the disc slides halfway out of the machine and waits there. Like it's trying to hide from you. You remove the red disc and place it into your pocket. This small table has been turned into a makeshift desk. A startlingly red folder stands out against the clutter. In the Operant Bureau's elaborate filing system, red is reserved for personnel files. A small label in the top left corner is printed with one word. Your cryptonym, Cascade. The color reminds you of pomegranate. It screams danger, not for human consumption. Your hand hesitates. The folder opens with a whoosh. Before you, in neat monospace type, your life is condensed to its barest elements. Name Wilk Herschel, cryptonym Cascade. Born Landau, former Republic of Mercia. Dependents, none. Pay class D2. Years of service, 14. All true. None of it useful just now. There's another page behind this one. It's labelled Service History. A tingle in your fingers. Your head grows lighter as you approach the crash site. In just a few words, the worst failure of your life is reduced to bureaucratic shorthand. Previous assignment, Portofino 88 to 91. Network, whole sick crew. Operants, Cascade. Redacted. Assets, redacted, 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 redacted. A secret the Opera has elected to keep from itself. Mistakes made, friends abandoned. The redactions are merciful. They keep our gang intact. Obvious. The Opera wanted him to know what sort of spy he'd be working with. Most recent assignment, Novessa 91 to present. Satellite Facility B. AKA the Freezer, where the old, useless and discredited are assigned to wander the climate-controlled hexagonal galleries until they're dismissed or die of despair. Or very occasionally, until fate recalls them to the Opera's service. Now if only you can figure out why. The folder shuts itself with a tiny sigh. Whoa. The darkest secrets. You can't just leave them out like this. You crumple the pages up and set them on fire in the waste paper basket. As the flame consumes them, the pages curl like a black lotus flower closing itself. Amidst the crumpled sheets of copy paper and empty takeout containers, you find an open pack of cigarettes, Suprema mark. Smokes, ease of mind. Cool. There's nothing outwardly noteworthy about this pack of Suprema 100s. It's like any other found in commissaries and corner stores across the People's Republics. Except secreted neatly against the inner wall of the pack, just as you were once taught to do yourself, a crisply folded sheet of A7 paper. Bijipwil, Vibsquux, Ongs, Sixfazil, Exquam, Yijizv, Digarik, Ravix, Skilbach, Jittababake, Whatsup, Sift, Hugtok, Huichk, Slaw, the Troop, Rilliam, Nacht, Skjuva, Fukatskla, Terabit. The pack slides nicely into your pocket. as though it always belonged there. A pair of men's trousers are hung delicately over the shower rail. If Pseudopod's pants were attempting to flee the scene, they did not make it very far. The front and back pockets are completely empty, except for a few pieces of lint. But those aren't the only ones. Men's trousers sometimes have an extra coin pocket inside the right front pocket. You slip 2 fingers inside and come away with a neatly folded sheet of paper. Not normal paper. This is nitrocellulose, made to burn quickly and completely. The page is notebook-sized and perforated along one edge. It reads, THA space 7 LES APR space 032 space WIFO space 9W space TBGFLW25. The missing companion to the cipher you discovered in the cigarette packet. Totally meaningless, yet no meaning can be made without it. One of the many mysteries concerning men's trousers. He was trying to smooth out creases with shower steam. Brown, shapeless, they are utterly unremarkable. No accident. This is functional invisibility. The wearer would have no choice but to blend into a crowd. As you turn away, a stray thought passes. They may never be worn again. You pick up the phone. The handset vibrates in your palm. Before you even finish speaking the word, the device connected to your phone base splits it into 256,000 encrypted fragments. The magic box, one of the proudest achievements of the Opera's Technical Services Office. Half a world away, a familiar voice splits into a corresponding number of fragments before coalescing again by your ear.
Please tell me you have good news.
The voice of authority, otherwise known as your controller. It's your double she's expecting. Let's not disappoint her.
Operant Cascade, you made it. Your voice hasn't changed.
Her voice is just as you remember.
We'll get to catch-ups later. Put Pseudopod on the line.
You glance over at the man in the chair. A snail's trail of dried saliva glints on the side of his chin. You feel your mind starting to spin up. 5,000 revolutions per minute. It takes all your concentration to keep the receiver steady against your ear. For a moment, no one says anything. There's no sound at all, save for the blood in your ear and the electrostatic hum of the ultra-long distance connection.
Has he been zeroed out?
Meaning eliminated, killed, rendered inoperant. The language of distance, a measure of cotton to muffle the fear. Heavy words, Words that set machinery in motion.
A key is worthless without the ciphertext that goes with it. And? Did you manage to decode it? It's basic substitution. I'll ask one more time. Is your double zeroed out?
You must speak the word. She cannot make the determination herself. 5,000 kilometers away, in a small office deep underground, a mid-level controller of the Operant Bureau leans forward and cups a hand over her earpiece. Her other hand hovers above the keyboard, ready to faithfully record your next words. Her eyes reflect the glow of the terminal screen. She's been at her desk for 14 hours today. Once you say it, there's no going back. The momentum of events will overtake you.
Cascade, is your double zeroed out or not? Yes, you do. Is he zeroed out, Operant? Right. I wonder which it is. Have our enemies blown us up already? Or is this just another day at the basement massage parlor of spy services? Fucking hell.
She's wondering how long till she can have a drink. Shriekily liqueur from a can. It's been several hours since her last.
The opera's going to hang me by the toes. For you, it's back to Satellite Facility B.
The freezer. Shiver. Resist.
Is that your way of telling me to fuck off? You haven't even got the assignment.
Gang taking heavy incoming fire here. Not sure how long we can hold out.
Listen to me. This assignment is over. Effective immediately.
Over. Immediately. The words ricochet inside your skull.
The woman in the Photoshop downstairs, Constance. She's one of ours. Let her deal with Pseudopod.
Middle-aged woman, dark hair behind the counter. You exchanged a few words when she gave you the key.
As for you, we need to get you on the next aerotram out of the city.
Already your mind is settling back into familiar grooves. Old mechanisms slide and click into position. The ciphertext. You have the pieces. You just need to put them together. They won't be expecting you back in the People's Republics for several days. Plenty of time for some self-directed espionage. You've been out of action for 5 years. The opera wouldn't rush sending you back in theatre. Unless... Half a moment's hesitation, then...
Where'd you get that idea?
Not a denial. Proceed.
Fine. Play it that way if you want. There should still be flights departing for Superblock territory tonight. Make sure you're on one of them. It was no one, a ghost in the wire. The assignment's over. Get on the next tram. Then you're going to end up like Pseudopod. Zeroed out. Your choice.
A click, and the line goes dead. You dial your controller's number. Raw information atomizes itself. On the other side of the world, a phone rings.
I thought you were headed out. What is it? Now you've heard it. Get moving, Operant.
The line goes dead. You dial your controller's number.
I thought you were headed out. What is it? It works. Get moving, Operant.
The line goes dead. You return to the desk. Everything is right where you left it. Letter by letter, words emerge from the mist. They speak in a voice you haven't heard for a long time. You dial your controller's number.
I thought you were headed out. You have your directives. Get moving, Operant.
The line goes dead. You return to your double's limp body.
Easy, lady. I just want to develop some photographs. I'm not trying to take your innocence. You have a wild imagination. A little photo should not count as a crime. It's not like it's a... Stark realities that prevent me from pursuing my interests. Also racism, maybe. What? What a full spectrum question. Perhaps you've been huffing photochemicals with this confused woman. Very well. Photo 24 can have this round. Thank you for this extreme stress I'll now carry through my day.
It's that little amber light. It means out of order, and I haven't been able to get it to green, meaning in order.
Just looking at that thing causes you to take psychic damage. Best stay away.
Pseudopod assured me this machine was a vital tool of communication, as precious to our work as the magic box we installed on your room phone. I'm telling you now, Operant. That's what's... You've received all sorts of technical training, I presume. I would think getting a little light to turn green should be well within your powers.
A dread beast hum in with dormant power. A handless scribe. It just needs to be soothed.
Divorced. I don't presume to know the inner workings of the opera, but I have to think I could be better utilized. Of course, I'm happy with the tasks I've been assigned thus far. Keeping a safe house is a major responsibility, but I have other skills, you know. Chemistry, for one. I have an entire photo lab back here with access to all kinds of toxic chemicals and powders. And yet I doubt anyone would suspect a woman like me of, say, poisoning someone. If the assignment required it. I certainly don't. It looks rather flirtatious. Oh, I'm sure it can. Seedy business attracts itself. You might try one of the bars along Party Alley. I don't know whether that's intended to be reassuring. much better, thank you. I'll print. I'll be here if you require anything.
Finally, someone with courtesy. Do you know when the 9 is coming?
A handsome man shifts in place, glancing over his shoulder toward the tram lines. Suitcases surround him.
Strange. I thought I saw you get off that very tram just a few hours ago. What a curious occurrence. In any case, you're out of luck, as there won't be another for several hours yet. I'm waiting on the 9. I was told it was having some problems. But it's supposed to be in service any day now.
An exotic air about this man, difficult to place, and exceptionally handsome. The suit he's wearing hasn't been changed in days.
Zunzark, a long way from here.
Part of the global periphery, not aligned with one of the major power blocks. More than 20% of the world's phone scams originate from a single unmarked building on the edge of its capital city.
I was told it's supposed to be in service any day now. That was a week ago.
Enough time to grow accustomed to new surroundings and start noticing things.
I would appreciate it. I did see a man like that some days ago, I think. Near the bazaar, in fact.
Ah, sleeping brother.
You're welcome. Thank you. I'll be here in the meantime. Wait.
You hear laughter and music ahead. You can still make out the lower half of the words "Eselk Free" sticking out on the brick beneath. Sniff. Get the smells. You also have the red disc from the stereo system. You could seek out a media vendor to assess it. A vertical safari of stuffed animals, all loose stitching and cheap fabric, with cotton hemorrhoids showing at the seams. Each Bulbasaur represents a beast defanged, defenseless. Within this deformity lies the essence of their irresistible cuteness. Helpless in your arms, the creature can do nothing but smile. Soft, fuzzy, and without tongues. They are made to keep the secret of the violence in your grasp. Plushies in various sizes, colors, and denominations. If they're from something, you don't recognize it. Immobile grins, middle fingers to nature itself. Each plushie is branded with an obviously counterfeit brand name of Zoo Textile. Next to it, the vendor has stickered each different model. Each one numbered 1, 2, 4, 5, or 6. There are no number 3s. You scour the mound of fake flesh for the missing model. There doesn't seem to be a single number 3 left in the entire display. You must elevate your focus. Clear your mind of the plushie's maddening absence. You close your eyes, burrow into your mind's folds, looking for a plushie-shaped void. You find its edges, you feel around it, making your thoughts plushie shape so that they can fill it in. Finally, you realize plushie number 3 is you. Techno-fascism is the hot new thing. None watch you depart.
Excuse me. Can you take a look at this? No, nothing like that. Please, just look. Have you seen him before? Have you? Mi viejo, my dad. He's been missing a few days. Right, I should have started with that, I guess. His name's Enoch Krantz. Yeah, he probably just started walking and got lost. Old people do that kind of thing. He's kind of forgetful sometimes. Not a lot, but I'm just worried. I told him watching too much TV was making him crazy. After Dad retired, his friend Gilmar turned him onto this show, the reality situation. They were obsessed, had them convinced they were truth detectives. And it's just a guy with a paper bag on his head rambling about invisible aircraft carriers and iodine-deficient children. Dad and Gilmar were always following up on leads and calling into the show. Felt like Bagman was encouraging them, you know? Oh, so you're like into that too? Maybe you'll get this then. My dad developed this insane theory about the payphone to the western exit of the bazaar. Dad thought certain words said into the right phone gets you attention from the wrong people. He was convinced Emter was behind it all. A couple days ago, he stopped by the stall to bring me lunch. Then he said he was going to make a call. I wasn't nervous at first. I figured there was no risk of anything actually happening. And then he didn't come home. Yeah. It's just crazy old man shit. He probably just wandered off. Bagman did an episode on them, and so Gilmar started following random people, thinking they were from the bank. Not long after, he roped my dad into it. Guys in expensive business suits, usually. Foreign accents, verbally abusive, and tight with their money. Except when it comes to treating a client. Normal rich guy stuff. Hitting up the bars and shouting abuse at the local drunks. And then they disappeared into penthouses where they couldn't be followed. That's what Gilmar thought. He stayed out after my viejo went home. And then he called my dad around 2 in the morning. He'd overheard something and was explaining it when the call just cut off. My dad went by his house the next day, but Gilmar wasn't there. Yeah. He looked for Gilmar for 2 weeks. Reported him missing to the GMs. Nothing. They seem pretty random. Cousins, moon, reunion. I guess. When he tried to tell me, I wasn't really paying attention to him. He had those written down on a pad in his bedroom. He told me not to say them if I used the phone. It all sounded so silly. Yeah, thanks for humoring me. Don't pay too much attention to it. He'll probably turn up any day now. Please don't. Just, it's a stupid conspiracy theory, all right? No point digging your nose in it. Mi viejo will probably turn up soon anyway. Oh, that's Ultravioleta, the Lusian pop star. Always thought that type of music was too young for me, but I've been enjoying her stuff recently for some reason. No, but it's definitely her kind of title. Weird disc, that. Oh, you should ask Petre at the music stall over there. He'll know more. Doubt he's an ultra, though. Why? Really? You're not going to try to make a call or anything, right? No! Of course I am. But what if they do? It's the phone by the western entrance to the bazaar. Sometimes when I'm standing here, I think I hear it ringing. Nobody else can hear it but me. Yeah, they're right there. Take a look. Must be some party you're going to. Fair warning, wear those too much and they'll give you a nasty headache. That'll look funny on you, yeah. Cool. You need anything else? Oh yeah, he came by. Nice man. Talked a lot about socks. Not really. Wandered off into the bazaar. What do you mean, something's happened? Did he use the phone? Oh, well, at least you have that. He was, normal. Pretty forgettable, if I'm honest. I told him, unless your socks are mismatched and neon-colored, I'm not much use to you. Sorry. Yeah, I was kind of distracted when he showed up. Thanks for stopping by.
A cosmonaut suit. Its shoulder patch reads, "The stars are ours, 77.
5,000 soul. No wonder it's still here. People with that kind of money don't shop in the bazaar. If it is, then it's one of the few things for sale here that isn't a knockoff Lusian electronic, disc, or toy. A classroom with a buffed blue floor and white fiberboard tiling. The teacher rolls a square little television in on a cart. The girls in their final year of gymnasium gather round. The camera follows the white column up, and then it jerks, or cuts out. When the picture returns, there's just a white cloud sprouting new white limbs. The rocket nowhere to be seen. For a long moment, none of the students can tell what's happening. Then, one by one, they realize. A faulty seal, a minor propellant leak. Next thing you know, 4 cosmonauts are splattered across the face of God. Expensive, fruitless. The program's failure promptly tanks the Portaferan economy. Supreme Leader Nestor flees into his second exile not long after. As for the bazaar, it's saturated with surplus equipment, memorabilia, and replicas. This suit is most likely the latter. You once heard that the pressure in space can turn your whole body inside out. But that might be submarines. your focus widens back to the bazaar. On the TV, a giant wolf-like creature stands up on its hind legs and howls, its fur bristles gold. Dangerous, mythical, electrifying. No wonder the kids are watching this. Suddenly, the beast roars and light floods the screen. It's followed by a wet, pulpous sound. An acceptable mimicry of a skull liquefying under extreme thermal stress. LED lights are distributed evenly along the blade. Durable PVC hilt with textured grip. Impressive armament. The Luz, once a powerful empire, now reconstituted as a modern techno-fascist state. The rising military and cultural power of the day. Notice that the broadcast is in Mercian, not Lusian, dubbed for a foreign audience. Troubling, especially if Lusian cultural exports are what they primarily consume. A neurotically organized stall, about 10 meters west. A morose man stands there obsessively cleaning a disc-like object. A man of strong opinion that he's not afraid to shout about, even to children. Neither sounds terribly enticing. Ridiculous. These wobbling open chassis abominations can barely function on solid ground. Some Portofirans refer to Lusians as strange cousins, a nod to this island's colonial past. Certainly not part of Luz. It's a wealthy state in the developed world, known for its bogs and poets. A mere 4-hour flight, but there are no commercial flights between Portofino and the Illuminated Empire. Perhaps you should let children be children. A child stands no chance against your training. Let's be logical. Whoever needs it more, you, obviously, should have it. Why would you take this from him? He clearly treasures the toy. Are the people's needs not far greater than that of an individual child? It's easy. You've had loads of life experiences, just pull them all together, but make it wolfy. No irony, only the truth. Slowly, the kids turn away from you. Trying not to lose count of all the cool stuff he doesn't have. Assuming these cups do resemble cartoon walls, you'd need 5-axis milling machines, injection presses, stress testing labs, and climate-controlled environments to manufacture them. The words Lelou's make your shoulders close in, as if bracing for a hit. Oust the names of these grotesque fascist animals. Speak to them of the people's heroes. Recite unto them the tale of the end of history and the triumph of post-historical materialism. Child wolf hybrids have no place in the workers' paradise. It's been years since you interacted with children, so a reminder. Be nice. Be normal. The girl's instincts are commendable. The boy's a disaster in waiting. Yeah, they have no idea. A riposte flung without thinking. She's been asked the question more than once. Portofiero's rampant privatization has hit its public infrastructures too. An eternal underclass is being manufactured before your very eyes. A bourgeois district, in the northern parts of Portofino. You picture a woman going over her expenses, over and over, hoping to make the numbers fit. Brains lie, guts don't. So you heard. Perhaps they can confirm the woman's story. The vendor's concern is genuine then. The kids study you, attentive. The children ignore you, entranced by the television. The children ignore you.
The gate is bound to the pole by a thin steel chain. The gap between leaves little room for passage. Only ghosts can pass freely between such crevices. Rust speckles your fingertips. A system compromised at the subatomic level. You push the gate. The metal creaks, but it doesn't move. It's held fast by a rusty chain. We're gonna need tools for this one. Canned beverages are lined up like brightly coloured soldiers, neatly regimented behind coiled springs.
The can makes a pleasant funk as it lands. The can makes a pleasant funk as they land in the well with a formidable, intimidating weight. The can makes a pleasant funk as it lands. The can makes a... The refreshments remain dormant in their artificially chilled chamber. An assortment of cargo crates sits in waiting, adorned with faint chalk marks and bright yellow labels. A maze of hastily drawn letters and numbers stands in contrast to the printed labels above. The symbols range from A to D, 0 to 9. Machine printed, crisp and official. They all bear the same logo, tiny gold dots in a precise angular pattern. A shipment with last week's date from the Luz, the Illuminated Empire. One of them has been slit open, 2 packs missing. Even worse, they've taken the poor cigarettes home for sloppy seconds. Around you, dock workers move in predictable patterns. Your hands sink into their rhythm and find the carton's edge. The paper feels luxurious under your fingers and sticks to you like pleasantries. You retract your arm and in your palm you behold a single packet of Ouroboros Black. The design portrays a snake eating its tail, embossed in gold. The Guardia Municipal officer is intensely scratching at his neck. As you approach, he wipes his hand on his pant leg. The folks who guard property rights are not worthy of answers. Animal rival. The way he intones the word mother suggests a primitive monotheist before an image of a graven god. Must find Borsen. That's the problem here. Everyone demands results, but no one's willing to stomach the cost. A tinge of affection. The largest corporate entity in Portofino, a monopoly over the city's telecommunications. Their logo is a cheerful dolphin. Hard to argue with a non-existent point. But not dead, he reckons, by the way his face curdles. That's a lot of skepticism around reported and disappeared. A smeared pattern with streaked edges. You can rule out natural irritants. Common boar deterrents, loud noises and strong smells such as predator urine, placed in strategic locations. As you step away, the GM returns to scratching his inflamed skin. The storefront is closed firm with a metal shutter. Plant life sprouts from cracks in the brickwork, growing over the aluminium. It must not have been open for some time. Carl was here. M plus Y. Unstoppable trade forever. Marito is a dog rapist. You lift the shutter gently. It resists. Locked. You turn away from the storefront.
Off-brand drivers, cheap plastic housing. Mass-produced excrement. These animals pleasure themselves in it. Those smears near the optical pickups? That's not damage. Shame. It oozes out over time. You see this? Each one guaranteed for 10,000 replays. Obscene. That's right. Imaginative faculties dulled by senseless repetition. Forgive me, friend. I'd mistaken you for a common replayer. Too much to ask, I expect, that you're a fellow Einzelton aficionado? One of a fast-fading few. Go ahead, browse away. Strange how? Format or content? More cheap calories to sate the masses. All right, let's have it. An Einzelton XR. Where did you get this? Einzelton hasn't been available to regular consumers for a decade. A disc in good condition is worth thousands of sol to people who appreciate its wonders.
Specialists, collectors of the rare and the defunct, people like him, in other words.
The apex of auditory technology. A high-fidelity yet dynamic sonic experience that self-effaces after a single play. A magnet embedded in the disc erases its contents as it's being listened to. As in life, everything happens only once. Replayability is oblivion. The end. You played it? And what? You thought to defile a corpse a little more just for fun? I expected better from you. Better they recalled them all years ago. Better a mass manufacturing fault than this, to save them from this humiliation from being passed around like...
A light switch flips off in his eyes. He handles it as reverently as if it were a tiny plastic coffin.
I'm sorry. I assume fondling a human corpse would also make you feel pretty weird. If you want spiritual, find an unplayed one. This is the dark stuff. You're transgressing. UV can only be ultraviolet. Degenerate Lucian Electrodrosser. There's a new fabricated star every day, it seems. But she's the top of today's pile. Do I look like I'm 14 years old and brain dead? The fact that it's committed to Einzelton suggests it's some kind of promo copy. Some new advancement of degeneracy from across the Nos Correntes. This ultraviolet has gone missing at the moment. Kidnapped by counter-fascist radicals, whatever that means. Lucian marketing plot, if you ask me. Don't try to brighten my day. Optimism is slow-acting poison. Things like her make me almost miss the days the Lucians were marching on the colonies. None of this is the Einzelton's fault, of course. They can't control what gets seared upon them. No, I'm afraid it's not. No more potential. Only anti-potential. Replayability is oblivion. The end. Just a disc, is it? And we're just piles of blood and gristle? It really saddens me to hear you speak like this. I almost would have preferred if you were just a regular replayer. Instead, you get my hopes up only to dash my brains out against some rocks. You seem to have misunderstood my soliloquy. It's done. No mas. The beauty and the tragedy of the format. I hope you dispose of it with dignity. I'm afraid not. The format is near obsolete. Einzelton is the past, yet it contains the future. So, your question is, Petre, how do I reanimate a corpse? I would class it as necrophilia, actually. I'll be honest, the thought is so disturbing to me that I've never entertained it before. But theoretically... Theoretically, it might be possible. You would have to repolarize, re-remanence processing, probably a concentrated magnetic flip, neodymium grader. It would involve some custom gear, no doubt, but my answer to your distressing question is yes. I think you could. Why don't you film it and make a snuff disc out of it? One for the techno-voyeurs. Don't ask me about this again. I feel unclean. Shelves are over there. Mostly crass replayable formats, but such is the degenerate society we live in. Missing? Is he? I'm not surprised. That fool and his friend would wander into the jaws of a lion if they were told to. That TV show. Idiot with a bag on his head, your regular stop for hysterical lies, paranoia. Every night at 9 p.m. The old fool was always regurgitating whatever he had heard on there the next day. It's no wonder it eventually led him into trouble. Culture. Portopheron. Scraps. This new Lucian mania is all-consuming. Nobody wants anything that isn't techno-fascist trash, including, apparently, their own souls.
Obsession with foreign imports. Sufferers of so-called Lusian mania will consult the wall.
Yes, well, I'm sure it must seem that way to someone from the jungles of wherever you're from. Anything we once had has been consumed, overwritten, digested, and shat out by Luz. And the worst thing is, we know it. We just don't care. The culture blockade was designed to prevent this, but now anyone with the wits to create anything new just spends their time devising ways to get past the signal blockers and access Lucian drivel. Whole thing's a myth anyway. Failed project. Most of the crates I get from Luz come stamped by the Ministry of Mass Culture. They want it all out there. Provincial, but honest. Silk, sad national poetry. Music, the same kinds they play in the so-called developed world, except a couple decades late and desperately effortful.
Incapable of competing with Lusian media on the most basic neurological level. Fuck this. You want blood, dopamine, wolves.
You could at the very least consume the propaganda they produce for adults, you know. That's why I'll be here, enjoying the front row seat to the downfall of culture. That is my punishment. Wonderful. We can share snacks. That would be preferable to the truth of things. There is no politics to it that they can see. They just want something they can idiotize themselves with. You'd think we had run out of brick walls. I take it this means Luz hasn't managed to make it into wherever you're from. Good for you.
Another victory for our great and anonymous censors.
Interminable. Every day there's new formats, categories, each one more depraved than the last. Of course, I can't say that out loud. Customer, you know?
He says it to everyone.
Well, there was a certain period in the early years of Portopheron independence when everybody on this cursed island was holding their breath waiting for La Lutz to invade. But nothing happened. Instead, a few years later, the radio signals began coming in. Pop music, radio operas, later television shows. Accidentally? Oh, no. Those signals are pointed directly at us. I can't be sure, but I have reason to believe the media they let reach us isn't even the same one they broadcast to their own people. It's made for us. When the city caught on, they put up the signal blockers, but it was too late. Hopelessly. Like heroin addicts, but with no chance of rehabilitation. You'd like to hear more? Correct. It erases acid plays. The inherent idea being, of course, that you never play an Einzelton and have a more profound experience because of it. Some say that was the intention behind the red color scheme, a warning, so you would never misplay it. I think it was an aesthetic choice, personally. With Einzelton XR, the first time is the only time. A magnet embedded in the disc erases its contents as it's being listened to. As in life, everything happens only once. Replayability is oblivion, the end. It loses its resale value, and the uninspired replayer who listened to it loses a piece of their soul. Would propping your dead grandmother up and trying to have a conversation with her corpse cause psychic damage? Of course it would. Unless you were a monster. Irreparable. X remnants. 0 remnants. Extremely. The Einzelton magnets are so potent that the erasure is absolute. The X is meant to represent the negative, the complete absence of sound or vision. This was a very conceptual time for storage media, you understand. It was a very beautiful time, too. You can imagine the use cases yourself. Rental markets, promotional copies, that sort of thing. The technical origins are trite. Its deeper purpose is simply to exist, to remain in a rarefied realm of pure potentiality and infinite beauty. Don't forget, we too are single play only, erasing ourselves moment by moment. What do I look like to you? A common replayer? Oh, so you're a semiotician now. I own several, if the word ownership applies to such a delicate relationship, but I would sooner molest myself than an Einzelton XR disc. Where did you get this? Einzelton hasn't been available to consumers for a decade. A disc in good condition is worth thousands of sol to people who appreciate its wonders.
Specialists, collectors of the rare and the defunct. People like him, in other words.
You played it? Filthy animals. Those. Better they recalled them all years ago. Better a mass manufacturing fault than this, to save them from this humiliation from being passed around like...
A light switch flips off in his eyes.
I'm sorry. You seem to have misunderstood. I hope you dispose of it with dignity. I think private.
The vendor's eyes narrow behind his orange lenses.
This is a media store, not the missing persons division. Bother one of the GMs with questions like that. I try. So most of humanity fades into an indistinguishable morass of banality. This colleague, what does he look like? Ah, the sock boy. Dialectical-looking glasses, air of advanced virginity.
Back in photo 24, your would-be double gurgles his ascent.
He definitely had some on when he darkened my store. Small mercies. Yes, he came by here. Little communist lost, adrift among the many wonders of the free market. Air of a child hastily abandoned at a fire station, waiting on a mother who won't be coming back. Well, viewed might be a stretch. Let's just say the man was definitely mobile. He was dreaming big, I'll give him that. Also dreaming moronic. Your dialectical friend mistook himself for some sort of big money businessman. He wanted the bazaar to import superblock hosiery. Socks to start with, but there was talk of cotton tights, even stockings if the venture took off. You're joking, of course. He didn't even know what a velo disc was, let alone an Einzelton. At a certain point, I'm just debasing myself. No. And to be honest, I wouldn't have wasted the stock. He seemed immune to music. Of course not. I don't sell socks. So is he all right, your man? Or what? Yes, yes. We are all so well intended. I'll be blunt. Are you with a weeping eye? Because they've been especially active here recently. Usually they just let things slide. All the Lucian merchandise, good for everyone. But these days, they're staring right at us, unblinking. Depends on how much torture they go in for. Who am I kidding? I'd end it long before they took me alive. Be happy to, in fact. Shard or fella disc kissing the wrists. One-way stroll into the canal. My point is, your colleague was asking questions. Now, something's obviously happened, and here you are, also asking questions. Given the current climate, no one wants to answer these questions, least of all, me. Then I would attempt to educate, obviously. I'm not some kind of street hustler, friend. My merchandise is mega premium, the best this side of the big blockers. I'll tell you what I told your sock friend. Speak to the boatman down by the vest docks. He's the one who knows the underground goings-on around here. We're just the vendors. The cool one. Excessive sunglasses. Relaxed aura, likely on a boat. No way of confusing him. Wonderful. Now for all our sakes, please say no more. If you want to talk media formats, I'm your man. This other stuff... Maybe not. The bazaar is closing up soon. Another day, another cultural molestation.
A low, tilting shelf marked in heavy block letters. Despised subgenres. Various sections are separated by narrow plastic dividers, each one labelled with the same neat script. A single label fills up the entire back row. L-pop. Leloux's state-sanctioned popular music format, algorithmically optimized, ideologically vetted, and chemically catchy.
Have you met fans of the slop? If I leave it out front, I'll spend the evening scraping fluids off the jewel cases. What galls me is that it doesn't matter how I label any of it. These animals thank me for being thorough, then buy two.
A single label, Leloux's state.
You confuse dislike with discernment. Typical of those raised on jingles and sponsorship anthems. What galls me is that
A single label, Leloux's state.
there are vomit bags behind the bin should the urge arise. What galls me is that
A single label, Leloux's state.
Thank you. What galls me is that
A baffling assortment. Hairdresser music, children's choirs, self-love anthems, opinionated female vocalists, and too many keyboards.
And what exactly would you call adults who fawn over dolled-up starlets too young to even own the rights to their own music, huh? Don't tell me you're one of them. There's not many who would admit to such proclivities. In public, no less. Don't let anyone see you with that. Do you understand now? At least you're wearing gloves.
You turn your attention away from the shelf. You flip the shutter lock open from the inside and slip out into Portofino. You approach the steel door. Faint oxidation halos spread across it, blooming like algae on a sunken wreck. It's locked. Still locked, somewhat inevitably. This door isn't going anyway, currently. No response. There's still no response. A whisper beyond the doorframe. Ripples of frozen air, a shattered seal. 7 people stare through a window as an unseen hand taps at the glass. You step back from the door. Unwise to your presence, a lanky young man presses the handset against his flushed cheek. It practically clings to it, like a shipwreck survivor holding onto a piece of driftwood.
I don't know how much time we have. You have to help me fill it in.
No use. Sucked deep into the abyssal vortex of lust, he's beyond your reach.
Tell me I'm not meeting your expectations. Tell me I'm a worm before the mystery of the gap. So close. You know so much, and I so little. The power differential is grotesque, highly problematic. Don't change it. I'm your faithful dog. I know nothing. I question less. So She thinks I work with the mouth breathers in the trade office. In this suit? Unbelievable. Yes, I saw your colleague, hanging utterly deflated from this very payphone. It was despicable. I'm sure you would. Oh my god! You can't do that to me. But you really, really should.
This is a private phone call. Please excuse yourself.
I'm surrounded by enemies. I think those old pilots sent her to listen in. Do I want her to watch? Oh, maybe, in theory, but you should see the way she's dressed. She's dressed like some kind of teenager. Not at all appropriate for her age.
I asked you politely once. Now kindly wait your fucking turn.
Tell me that kind of language is unacceptable. It's the influence of the gap. I hardly recognize myself anymore. Help! Questions? Do I look like a man who has time for questions? Nothing. I just ably defeated one of the local lumpen prole. Nothing compared to the mysterious gap. I've got to go. I'll call you again, when it's safe.
The box is scrubbed of the usual flyers and graffiti, leaving streaks of adhesive and permanent marker behind. The coin slot has been aggressively papered over. Stretched too many times. Coils slacken near the base, but someone's wound a rubber band to keep them tight. Something catches your eye. Beneath the grime, the metal surface ripples like something's trapped underneath. The grime yields in oily streaks. Slowly a shape emerges, rounded and friendly. A dolphin, embossed into the chassis. The engraving's shallow, eroded by years of neglect but legible. 1F7G35-94X12. The serial number. Maybe. In any case, you have this now. It's better than not having it. Cracked receiver and yellowed plastic. At least a decade, you assume. A faded sticker draws your attention. An advertisement for a local ferry schedule. The year, 82. You can talk privately, as long as you keep your voice down. You lift the receiver to your ear. No dial tone, only a crackling silence.
Hello, you. What's your pleasure? Well, a little mess never hurt anyone. I don't discuss my clients with other clients, love. I hope you understand. I told you. I'm Duchess. Let's stick to the miracle from now on, baby. Shouldn't you be investigating what happened to the sock importer? Never mind, hon. I'm listening. I know everything about augmentoids. I am one. It is my only voice. I am an augmentoid. I am the Mercenator 69, and I will annihilate you, then the rest of your pathetic race. My eyes start to glow red, my lips open. You see the steel gleam at the back of my throat. I lift you, bring you close to me. I grab your super cool sword by the blade, bending it easily with my metal grip. I miscalculated how sharp and cool your sword was. Ah! I scream as it slices through me, sparks flying from my halved body. I try to crawl away, wires dangling. I raise my hand to my face as if to beg, but then tear off my false human skin to reveal pure gleaming steel beneath. My eyes grow brighter. I'm charging my lasers. I cower to the ground, your blade slicing through my forearms, my chest, my neck. Sparks fly everywhere as I scream and choke. Ah! 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 Sorry, sugar. That augmentoid voice is hard. Nice kill.
The brightly coloured cans seem even more vivid upon your return.
The can makes a pleasant funk as it lands. The can makes a pleasant funk as it... The refreshments remain dormant in their...
I don't know how you managed to kick the hugger off the phone, but believe me when I say, we're in your debt. Miserable bastard. Hadn't let go of that receiver for a week. But never mind him. What about you? You're a long way from Marcia.
What happened, sugar tits? You get lost? Or are you just looking for company? Ah, come on. It's just a term of endearment.
Ha! Do it anyway. I would pay to see that. Would you pay to see that, Joe? Animals! That's how it is with most pilots, though. At the very least, we owe you a drink for getting rid of that phone hugger. Here. We're all strangers on this island, Monsieur. Why don't you join us?
Officially, we're Lusian.
We're exiles. The reunion came for us. We came here.
The reunion. La Luz's grand annexation campaign. Slow, legal, often bloody. A creeping tide reclaiming, every few years, one more of their old colonies.
Tell you what, Monsieur. You grease my gullet. I'll tell you some fucked up stories.
Well, I still have my tenantry passport. Stamped and all. Could fly back any day.
The tenantries of St. Olwyn, re-annexed in the early 80s.
Would you look at that? A Mercian who actually knows something about the world.
Course there is, sugar. Bright sun, sandy beaches. A mass grave somewhere with the bones of my parents.
If it is, I won't be around to see it. Liver's on its way out. Cancer will get me before the Lusians do. Conspiracy or not, Monsieur, I'm dying anyway.
She's right, though. Them doctors are a bunch of jokers. Almost as bad as Suits.
Anyway, you're the foreigner here, Monsieur, so you tell us. The Lucians think they'll be here anytime soon?
Hear that? Smart and good looking.
Either way, that's for you lot to worry about. I'm out the door. I flew from Tariska, small coastal town northeast of St. Olwyn proper. Was seeing a woman there. Ripped to Vortex E6 right off the tarmac.
Light craft, single turboshaft engine and a mere 120-litre biodiesel bladder. Favoured by the Answanian militia and guerrilla groups.
Lucian variant in this case, controls near illegible. Couple of days in, they started quelling the uprisings, and I'd heard enough about these things to how it was about to go down. So I hijacked her, right from the hangar. Didn't even fully remove the top. Steep climb, almost flamed out on the way up, but I rolled her clean over behind me. The city sprawled like veins in marble. Beautiful.
He edges out onto a thin sheet of memory, like a child on a frozen lake.
Same as they always did, except for the last time. I remember sun hitting the domes of the council houses and the harbour, hundreds of iridescent green sails. Beetle shells, we called them. Soon it was just me and the ocean. And then the light came. Burying bombs. Soft. Colourless at first. Then green and violet. Waves all over the shoreline and colours I didn't know existed. swirling like oil in water.
The painter's nightmare, etched in bodies and fire.
Those bombs don't leave ruins, you know. Not even craters. Just smooth flatlands covered in fine grey dust. It's a nice fantasy.
You want more stories like that, sweet cheeks? We're full of them.
I flew from Tariska.
Like craft.
Lucian Ver. Couple of days in, they start steep climb.
He edges out.
Luz scrambled 3 fighters, mainlanders, not locals. They didn't know the territory like I did. They tried to box me over the Viren Canyon, but I pulled a snap roll and kissed the ridges by a hair. Left them twisting in their own contrails. Soon it was just me and the ocean. And then, burying soft.
The painter's nightmare.
Those bombs don't leave room. It's a nice...
You want more stories like... Wish I could say the same, sweet lips. Please, sugar. We can't deal with any more competition. The money man has us down to quickies.
Will you look at that?
Now where did a sweet thing like you pick that up?
You used to see a few of these floating around, but not for years. Figure it was from before that foam was permanently hooked up.
We know, sugar. We were watching you there. How was it? Seeing stars already?
Maybe professional, maybe it just comes naturally to her.
Never enough, as far as I'm concerned. Sure do, sweetheart. The good Dr. Hugo's on his houseboat right there. Reassuring to know that no matter how hot and heavy it gets, we're only 10 feet away from resuscitation.
Can't say anyone like that struck me, but a lot of people use the phone line. The only reason why we rarely notice the hugger is because he refuses to leave.
I would say ask the Duchess herself, but she doesn't talk about clients with other clients. She's professional like that.
From the superblock, eh? Interesting. But no.
Hoping to find yourself a boyfriend, eh?
Lowest tier schoolyard banter. The old pilot grins, revealing a couple of gold teeth and another few rotted black.
Closest jail I know of would be up in Valmerada, up north, an hour away by tram, if the lines are running clean. Not that I can think of.
Who needs jails in this place?
The men nod and return to their drink.
Just another foreign money, man. City's been full of them lately.
Stuck-up little shit. Strolled in one evening, couple of nights back, picked up the phone and hasn't let go of it since.
We all want our turn, sugar. Even you. We saw you over there, getting your kicks in. He's here every damn day. Stays on the line for hours. Doesn't care one bit if anyone else has had a turn or not. Only shuffles off once the sun sets. What are we going to do? Fight him? Even if somebody pummeled him half to death, he'd feel nothing. He's an empty suit. Not even the decency to be sad. Let him rot in wealth.
He's not rich, Slava. He just works for rich people. Ignore them, Marcia. They have no idea how money works.
Who cares, Sugar? No one in a suit ever did any real work.
Come on. Foreign money men in this city? Empty, obviously.
Believe me, we've all had enough of the phone hugger.
It's a bit shit, but it's fine.
Duchess is the only thing that makes this city halfway tolerable.
Sociable enough. Like friendly dogs.
Wish I could say the same, sweet lips.
Ex-pilots. Does Joe there look like he could get anything up, let alone a plane? Loud Joe. He doesn't talk much. I'm Pigeon. That's Slava over there.
Slava used to be the name of a fishing port company out of the north. My main cargo for a while. Packages stunk to high hell.
Guess.
A dirty little city bird. A winged rat.
Sure, why not?
Man's got no compass. Him couldn't make it to the payphone without using radar.
Joke's on you all anyway. I never minded pigeons. Tough little fuckers.
I did clockwork for it. Perishable goods, fruits, marrow fish, whatever spoils quick.
Military. Oh, he can speak. Just not a whole lot of sound comes out. Question of vocal cords. Loudjaw was what they call a lamprey. People smuggler. Zhao ran low altitudes missions in and out of the territories for, what, 10 years? Just high risk. The only reward is what happens to you when you get caught. Of course, a more technical pilot might have made it out, but... if you say so.
Until next time, Sugar.
The brightly coloured cans seem even...
The refreshments remain.
With awkward reverence, you approach the street shrine.
Behold how the masses are choked by insidious abstractions. A spectacle of Portaferan humanity, the steps worn with years of its visitors' hope and grief. You adjust your position and gather the appropriate reverence. The audience of framed strangers watches you in silence. A prayer of interference. For the gambler palming a final chip. For the veteran lacing up boots cracked at the heels. For the fool stepping into the current and demanding the river change course. The words hang in the air, brittle as glass. The strangers do not blink. 100 forgotten faces, frozen in time. A crack of moonlight cuts across the shrine, the shadows bending unnaturally. Your words are gone as they are uttered, couriered upwards on the air's invisible wires. Ink stains and knife scratches adorn the shrine. Jagged words cast toward the flickering skies. In your guiding, we learn. Do you envy our brief, searing lives? Marco loves Puss. As you fade, we follow. A collection of cheap plastic photo frames, haphazardly arranged on a red checkered tablecloth. Each heavy with significance, all of it lost on you. Between them lie offerings and totems, a necklace, some out-of-circulation coins, an old packet of smokes. Prayers flit amongst the offerings, answered or ignored, who knows? You turn away from Polaris, into dawn's fragile light. A film of water, grease and rust gives the machine a staled quality, like a sea creature risen and tamed. The beast reads, Porto Engenharia at its foot.
Designed and built in Portaferro, back when the city still had the industrial capacity to manufacture on this scale by itself.
Cold, rough, unfeeling. You scan up and down the docks for machinery, but find none. This must be the last of its species. The crane may lift imported and stolen wares, but the machinery itself is homemade engineering. This isn't just practical, it's pride. Seabirds squabble overhead.
The man doesn't react or turn as you approach, your feet echoing off the high metal.
You've come a long way. Fortunately, the view just about compensates. I'm being punished. My employer has placed me in an impossible position. I'm a safety inspector, watching the lines. As you might have noticed, this pylon is under construction, technically. It's my role to ensure the lines and pylons are all built according to code. And this line, Line 9, will never be finished. Where to start? This pylon's angle deviated more than expected as the concrete set. Hazardous near water. Shouldn't have skimped on materials. Then there are the clearance issues. The party alley rooftops are higher than the building department's official records. Since the last round of MTER stabilization, they've been trying to force us lifers out. We can be fired, not easily, but they can take away the work that made us stay in the first place. I have two options. I could falsify my reports and declare Line 9 safe for construction anyway, or I could quit. Either way, the company can lose. Such a thought would never even occur to me, or any safety inspector, really. Fortunately, this spot lends itself to reflection. Contemplating my punishment helped me see how to live with it. Scraps of the old world leak into ours. Who can say? But the height has drawn us both. But you know, the view's not mine, just in case.
Whatever thoughts you try to summon are carried away by the wind whistling through the metal.
That's not how it works. But maybe next time.
The crisp air sends a pleasant tingle through your abdomen.
A friend of yours? Oh. Quite a formal-looking man, yes? He was here just the other day. I assume the music vendor told you as much. Yes, they did talk. It seemed quite unpleasant. I couldn't say. A lot of people come through here. I didn't pay particular attention to him. I couldn't really tell. You're welcome.
Terror to most, but for those with a taste for it, this is the kind of sound that vibes with their darkened soul.
I'm a structural engineer. I believe in stability. What Emperor has brought isn't that. Their version of stabilization shifts the responsibility of managing entropy from the state to the individual. Human existence always carries entropy with it. That's inherent in the system. Social insurance, pensions, fair wages, these are measures against the entropy of living. They're also expensive. No one's required to respect a system that oppresses and steals from them. There's entropy in all systems. No living thing can avoid it entirely. I'm a structural engineer. Human existence all... Such is the price for joining the developed world. There's entropy in all... I'm a structural... Human existence all... I've never lived anywhere else, so I can't say. I suppose there's the superblock, but they sign letter Wulgar as well. There's entropy in all systems. No living thing can avoid it entirely.
Some questions don't require thought, but the opposite. Quiet the conscious mind and the answer comes naturally. There's no meaning apart from what you think and experience. Not many are able to perceive the nature of things so clearly. The pylon man turns his head ever so slightly.
The gate is bound to the pole by a thin steel chain. The gap between leaves little room for passage. Only ghosts can pass freely between such crevices. You take the chain between the beak of your tool and collapses in a jangling heap at your feet. The metal creaks and gives way. The chain lies bleeding out on the cobblestones. In another life, it would have been a serpent.
The kids study you. The children ignore you.
Oh, it's you. What? That's so dangerous. You could have been killed. Or worse.
Behind her concern, a note of admiration and a small shred of hope.
I hope that's not true. But if you're sure about this, then... for the record, I don't expect you to help me like this. And if you want to give up, you can at any time. Thank you. Okay, look, I think I know why you didn't get snatched. Mi viejo mentioned something like that. Gilmar had been snooping around the waterlock to the east of the bazaar when he got snatched. That might be the missing bit. No idea. I think Dad looked around there himself, but before he could tell me what he found, he was...
gone.
Just don't get hurt. And please, please come back. Thanks for stopping by.
You again. Any updates on the 9? But how can that be? A gentleman from the Carabineros said it would be in service any day now.
A handsome foreigner. The Carabineros were playing a trick on him.
You'd think with all the emptor money this place has gotten, they'd have fixed their aerotrams. What am I supposed to do now? There used to be a more direct route via Havergelie, but the border has been closed since it was re-annexed by La Luz. It's not so easy to get around as it used to be, you know? I was simply passing through on my way back home to Sundak. I had been working in Copa Blanco, but the work dried up.
His eyes dart ever so slightly.
That was more than a week ago, and, well, here I am.
Despite his predicament, he's kept up with hygiene. His beard is shaved, his nails well manicured.
I'm a political economist by training.
It must be said, this is the most handsome political economist you've ever encountered. Something about his jawline makes you overly aware of your skin, your posture. Your right nipple hardens. The left hasn't seen him yet.
Well, not in so many words. Circumstances. I studied on a very generous MTER stipend, one of those programs to take gifted but under-resourced youths from the periphery and educate them in the developed world. But recently, the Sunnis government put its first computer. Suddenly, they found they no longer have any need for political economists. I hope what you say is not true, though I fear this is the future some have in mind for us.
One national computer in the right hands could be, as they say, a game changer.
Long story short, reality forced me to make alternative arrangements. How to put this? You're surely familiar with the concept. A somewhat rich, older lady wants a nice exotic husband without the lifelong commitment, yes? Meanwhile, a clean, well-behaved man from the periphery wants to see the world but lacks the necessary capital. The woman pays for his relocation and gains a valuable commodity. A high-quality Sunnis husband. Where else can one find men so clean, attentive, strong, and conversant in political economy?
Traces of a born romantic linger in the man's voice. This was a doomed endeavor from the very beginning.
In other circumstances, I believe it could have worked out brilliantly, but alas, in my case, endogenous factors conspired to thwart my domestic bliss. What can I say? Sunnis are both practical and romantic. A man by mail, a direct order dick. There are many names for it, some more vulgar than others.
A pair of blue boxer briefs hang from a wash line in Besanoble. A plain dress shirt crumpled on a cold bedroom floor in Landau. Somewhere in Treffer, a man leans on a marble counter, breath shallow from exhaustion.
I offer companionship and a fair trade. If you consider it as a set of transactions, love's really no more than an economic problem. I will tell you, madame, it was the lapdogs. All 6 of them. Not these dogs, trust me. My betrothed, she wanted them to watch our lovemaking, my cleaning and housework, my lectures on recent advances in microfinance. Wherever I turned, there was a creature the size of a throw pillow, its black, wet eyes staring at me.
Watching, trembling from invisible afflictions.
At one moment, I wondered whether I was there for her pleasure or theirs. That's when I realized I need to escape Copa Blanco as soon as possible. Back to Sunzak, very far from here. Maybe I'll go to work for my brother, or maybe I'll sign up for a term on the lunar mines. Really, I just want to escape the developed world.
Being sent to organize among the lunar cadmium miners is a common punishment for political offenses in the People's Republics. It is a privilege to raise class consciousness among our lunar comrades. The man turns back to his suitcases. You keep walking.
I'll print. Our strange cousins across the strait? What's there to tell? This city is like a little scrap of meat fallen between the bowls of two large dogs. One day we're going to wake up to find one of them has gobbled us up while we were sleeping. If it's between your superblock and La Luz, I've made my decision. Good. So now you're finally going to brief me? Very well. I'll be here if you I'll print. I'll be here.
The stereo is right where you left it.
You slot the disc into place and hit play. You step away from the... You return to your doubles.
My format-sensitive friend. How goes? Sure.
The GM gives you the most cut.
I don't know how you managed to kick the hogger off the phone, miss. What brings you back here?
Until next time, sugar.
An assortment of cargo crates sits in waiting, adorned. The man gives no indication of registering your presence as you approach. His mirrored orange and blue feathers, predators. It must be slain. A jolt of fear snaps through you, but you manage to not let it show. We'll have a talk with the vendors later today. A firm one. He's genuinely perplexed. He's genuinely perplexed. He's genuinely perplexed. He's genuinely perplexed. He's genuinely perplexed.
The fire exit stands conspicuously ajar. Wrong. Ball wants to play, not wedge. A hallway. It's just a fire exit. A fine place to hide in a moment of crisis. Marked and remembered. No, it's a trap. Must be destroyed. It's a pelota ball, the local variation of handball. Pelota balls are not designed for use as doorstops. Someone has elevated this ball to contraption status. An affront to workers' safety. Confine it to the gulag of the pocket. It's just a ball in a door. A shortcut, but whose? Nobody is paying any particular attention to the door, or seems close enough to care. Suspiciously nonchalant. They're just going about their days. You pocket the ball and close the fire door firmly. The fire door is still tight. The door sits flush in... You approach the steel door again, this time knowing who it belongs to. It's a standard lock, pickable by the right hands. The right hands will be holding tools for lock-picking. A brief tremor runs through the metal, but it doesn't budge. Humans dominate doors every day. Hold this one back down the pecking order. Your Russet called for you. Whatever's behind this, you can take it. Decaying rectangle with limited movement. Kill. The frame screams in protest, then concedes as you fling the door backwards into the room. A layer of dust covers the desk. along with a grey notebook, an electronic terminal, and a golden photo frame. In the middle of it rests an eye, accompanied by a teardrop, shaped out of a fine white powder. Next to the frame is an eye with a long single teardrop, shaped out of a fine white powder. The unmistakable symbol of the weeping eye, the secret police of Lelou's. It's soft and ringed. The word accounts is written across the top in black marker. A thicket of serial numbers, dates, columns and rows cover the pages top to bottom, along with shorthand references to accounts, both incomes and outgoings. As you flip through, 2 sets of handwriting emerge from the sheets. One matches the title accounts on the front, while the other is tidier and appears only in the very last entries. There are none. The first set of handwriting even uses the word cunt with the same wild abandon as the second. The first set of handwriting dates back years, a sloppy all capitals which must belong to Tempo. The second, newer set appearing about a week ago is an elaborate looping cursive. Some of the eyes have hearts instead of dots. Boring, boring, boring. A list of names, titles and compensation. One of the rows has been firmly crossed out, and payments seem to have stopped a few weeks ago. Ignatz. It doesn't ring a bell. Rent, utilities and other minor operating costs, including travel. Multiple instances of round-trip tickets between Portofino and Acuerda Lelou's. Acuerda, a coastal city of the illuminated empire's mainland. A corrupt commercial centre functioning as the launch pad for Lusian goods, directed at the developed world. You avert your gaze. The pale screen reads Miwa Terminal Model 4. The crying powder eye stares at you. It's either a warning related to the world historical information you're here for, or he has become a brand ambassador for the enemy. At this stage, nothing can be ruled out. The finger looks like a pale tram carriage, covered by late autumn snow, about to arrive at the station. Cocaine, the original power plant. If gasoline could kiss, this would be the perfume on the collar of its shirt. The privatized roads of your mind are now a high-speed rail network which penetrate the brain-blood barrier. Enjoy. It's cocaine. The eye on the photo frame is no longer weeping. As you turn the frame around, dust falls and a blade of light momentarily obliterates the row of faces presented. Cutting straight to our heart. Fuck. Rising from the damp cellars of regret. Taxman. S-Stock. Virtue. Radiant. Kindred. Holocene. Known to the opera as the whole sick crew. Unknown to you as those friends you left to die 5 years ago. You abandoned them. They were counting on you, but you only thought of yourself. You scared, selfish little cunt. Do you smell the crippling failure oozing from your skin? Do you feel the secret knowledge of your aching shame pulsing in your skull? You slip the photo out of the frame, into your pocket. Yes. You turn from the desk, back to the empty room. You step to the window, beyond which the bazaar spreads slightly obscured behind a fog of grime and dust. You gather up your sleeve and exhale onto the window, where your breath reveals a clear handprint in the dust. You raise your hand and place it gently onto the memory of his, but once there you see that you completely obscure it. The print is smaller than your own. Someone else has been using this office more recently than Tempo. Across the canal is the district of Lower Vudas, a haggling mess of slums, continually sprouting from the defunct ruins of itself. A cross-section of the city would be a cliff face, stacked with evidence of floods, political tides, and fossils of forgotten hardware. You watch the denizens of Portofino as they hum about their routines. Just like the former overseers of Silk Number 3, standing at this window, studying the movements of the dye workers, looking for signs of disturbance. Or signs of the revolutionary consciousness organizing itself. Known to the Opera as the Whole Sick Crew. You step to the window, beyond
Take care of your belongings. Any unattended baggage will be destroyed.